Lord, this is me, the one you love. Lord, this is me. Lord, this is me, the one you save. Oh, Lord, this is me. I am desperate for you.
There will be a destruction of life and properties of God, because the leaders, the people choose the leaders with their own strength, not by God's wisdom, not by God's destiny, not by God's revelation. So because of this, a lot of things are going to be happening, especially in the ministries of God. The Lord God said in this period, He said, "Tell my people to do what? To return back to me, which I am the true builders. I am the true builders. They cannot build the."
Lord, this is me, the one you love. Lord, this is me. Lord, this is me, the one you save. Oh, Lord, this is me. I am desperate for you.
Number one of it, we said what? Structure without God's presence do what? Leads to failure and injury. Structure without what? Structure without what? Structure without God's presence. It leads to what? Failure and what? And injury. We're going to look at the book of Psalm 127 verses 1. That is what we are going to be looking at in our number one phases of today, which said that structure without what? God's presence. It leads to what? It leads to failure and injury. How can you make a structure without God's presence? You are making a structure without God's presence. Where there is no presence of God, that structure will do what? It lead to a failure. You need God's wisdom to learn what instruction that to do what that will reign forever. And that's what many people are today are walking away for lay structure in the presence of God. They are laying structure at human sites. What humans see as a strong, and because of this structure begin to collapse. When you lay a foundation without an equipment that materials that are very sustained, you will see that building will later collapse. And that is what the Lord God is trying to put our eyes on it. He says structure without God's presence, it leads to what? A failure and what? Injury. When a leader begin to lay a structure without God's presence, without God's wisdom, without God's revelations, you begin to see that the foundation begin to collapse, the ministry begin to collapse, the places of worship begin to collapse, Christianity faith begin to waste away. Because why? The structures was not laid on God's presence, it was laid on human. So it's going to become what? It's going to become a failure. Let us look at the book of Psalm 127 verses 1, and let us see what the Lord God revealed unto us, that wherever we human lay a foundation without a structure, without a sin, that is going to be what? Is going to be what? Fade away and come to injure. Let us look at the Psalm 127 verses 1, which I read. I say, unless the Lord build the house, the labor in vain who build it. Yeah, except the Lord God laid the house. Except the Lord God laid the structures of the house. He said, my people in this period, the people begin to do, they begin to lay a structure on their home. He said, leaders are lay structures on their home. And when you are lay structure at their home without God laying the structure for the people, and you begin to see the building begin to collapse, which the building are the ministries, to the buildings as the leaders, which the buildings are what? Are the people which are what? Are in the nation. When a leader of a nation begin to do what? Begin to lay a structure on his own wisdom, without God's wisdom, without seeking God's direction, you see the nation begin to collapse. And that is exactly what is happening in the ministry. When a leader of a ministry begin to lay a foundation without God's wisdom, when you begin to lay a foundation with what you call a human strength, and you begin to see that the ministry begin to do begin to do fade away with a time. And that is exactly what the Lord calls the video to us. Because they say the number one phases of which we are going to be looking at, we talk about destruction without God's presence leads to failure and what? And injury. And we are going to look at the book of Psalm 127 verses 1. That's what the Lord God said there. He said, unless the Lord build the house, they labor in vain. You labor in vain. So that is why so many ministries today are being collapsed at the end of the day. Because why? Because why? The people they build it on their own. The Lord God did not instruct them how to build the ministry or how to lay the structure of the ministry. When you lean on man wisdom, when a leader of a country, president of a country begin to do things on his own wisdom, you begin to see that you begin to collapse. Because why? It is done on his own wisdom. It does not lay on the God's wisdom. You need to seek God's wisdom to be able to lay a foundation that will last forever. Whenever a man or a leader of any nation or a leader of any ministry begin to lay a foundation on his own strength, you will see that he's going to wait away. Because like the instructions of God, the foundation was not laid on the true Christ. And because of this, you see the ministry in some years begin to collapse. The Lord God said, these are happening in this season, that my servant tell my people to be returned back to the true foundation. Don't be seeking the God face before you lay any foundation. He said the people they are fading away because they are laying a foundation on their own, not his own wisdom. And because of this, when the foundation grow to a stage, it begin to collapse. Why? He said because the people labor in vain, because they did not seek me before they do. They lay this foundation. And that is what the book of Psalm 127 verse 1 said, which I read again. He said, unless the Lord build the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guide the city, the watchman stay awake in vain. The Lord God guide the city, and the watchman do what? He guide in vain. Because why? When you are guarding the city, the watchman may be slip off. He can slip off, and the enemy will come and what? And he will attack the city, and he destroy the city. And that is exactly what is happening in the world today. What is exactly what is happening in a nation today? Because why? They did not seek God to protect the nation. They decided to stand on their own, using human strength, using police, using army, using soldier, and beside all these things, then an attack is still coming. He come and what? Is come and destroy property and their people's life. He said why? Because they labor in vain. You stay in vain. You does not seek God wisdom or how to learn it. And when the instruction of God call, you replace the instructions of God. You still replace the visions of God or how to lay. Who's supposed to be the leader? How the city was supposed to be watched? You reject it and you begin to put man's powers. You put the people that are very rich there. So at the end of the day, you will see that the country will be what? It will not be stable. There will be what? A destruction of life and property. Because the leaders, the people choose the leaders with their own strength, not by God's wisdom, not by God's destiny, not by God's revelation. So because of this, a lot of things are going to be happening, especially in the ministries of God. The Lord God said in this period, He said, tell my people to return back to me, which I am the true builders. I'm the true builders. They cannot build the ministry with their own powers. A lot of people are beginning to build the ministry with money, with influence. The Lord God said it's not going to work. He's going to wait away, which is what He got to destroy within a time. He said the foundation will not last. The foundation will not last. He said, because of my people, they are decided to do to labor in vain, to think that it is that by their strength you can do this, by your strength you can do that. He said no. He said this time, he said this is what they had labored in vain. At the end of the day, you see every effort you put on so many ministries, every effort a leader put on what a group of people, every effort a leader of a country begin to put as a security into the country, begin to see that it begin to fade away. He said because my people I decided to abandon my true ways, which are my revelation before they do this, which are seeking my faith before they do this, which is they are done do this on human self. So because of this, the things are going to be what are going to be fading away within a time. And that is what the number one of people say. It says structure without God presence. It leads to failure. That is why a lot of things are failing in the ministry. That is why a lot of things are failing in the nation, because why? They are labor in vain. They did not seek God presence. They did not seek advice from God. They did not seek God present. All they think is that they can do this thing by human force. They think they can do this thing by human power. You cannot do it by human power. You can only do it by God's power. Without God's power, everything you do, with what it will destroy within a time. It's not going to be long. A building without a solid structure is going to collapse. So this Revelation is really talking about the leaders of what? The leaders of ministry. In these days, the Lord God said, lay this foundation in my presence. You cannot lay this foundation on your strength. Just because you have the money to build ministry does not give you the guarantee to go ahead, begin to build it. He said, this is the reason why the ministry are collapsing on the road. He said, because why they labor themselves in vain. I am not the one that pushed them in. They did not seek my advice before they move forward. A lot of people are doing things without seeking God's face. At the end of the day, when it is get to a stage, some years it begin to collapse. And he said, because why? He said, because the people did not put me in their presence. It did not include me into what they are doing before they do it. And because of this, it begin to do what? It begin to collapse. And that is the first verse which we are going to believe. We are going to look at number 2.